Hi. Hello, everyone. Hi, this is Christine Crowle here. Welcome to my channel. Today, I am going to talk to you about how to start looking for contracts without having experience. Okay, so do stay tuned. Okay, so let's dive into it. But first, before we do, I just want to share with you we've got some more free training coming up regarding contracts here on my YouTube channel. So I'm just going to delve into it about how you can get contracts even though you've got no experience. Isn't that something that you'd like to know about? Because a lot of people think that they've got to have experience in order to get a contract, and you don't have to have experience with getting a contract with the government. And that's what I really want to stress to you all. It's about the staff members that you have that are competent, that are able to do the job, because it's not you that's going out to do the work, is it? You've just got to make sure that you pitch in the right way and that you say the relevant things that's going to meet the needs of that contract. So, for example, if you were looking for a contract and you saw a contract and your company is able to employ or to use temporary workers, for example, temporary workers are people that will work on a temp basis. They're not contracted to work 40 hours a week for you, for example. They will do flexible working hours and you will pay them as they work, not on a contractual basis. So you can do this from 0 hour contract, for example. So they could be a healthcare worker, or they could possibly be a nurse, for example, contractor nurse, temp agency nurse, and they can actually go out and cover the work that's needed for you to fulfill that contract. So all you really need to do is to have the staff members that are qualified and capable of doing the job effectively. So we're going to delve more into that, about how you can be the business owner and you can still, with no experience yourself, still provide a contract that's going to meet the needs of individuals, buyers. Who are buyers? Well, buyers are those that are the ones that are looking for contractors, suppliers like yourself, for example. So a buyer is someone who is like the government or the NHS or private hospitals, for example, that are looking for someone to supply them with staff members that are going to show up and deliver the care package, for example. So I just wanted to explain briefly about the difference between the buyer, the person who is looking to spend money with your organization. So they could say, right, okay, we got a budget here of 5 million, for example, and we need to find suppliers. You are the supplier, the agency, because you're going to supply the care staff to that organization. So again, you don't need to have that experience. Now, some contracts will say you must have experience of 1 year. Well, you don't touch that at all. You're going to look for contracts that will be relevant to you. Is it for small to medium sized enterprises, for example, small organizations like yourselves? Are you a startup? It could say you can be a startup, for example, but you have to show evidence that you're able to meet the needs of that particular contract, for example. Now, what I really want to say to you as well is that you need to ensure that you've got the relevant insurance in place, i.e., do you have employer's liability, professional indemnity, for example, public liability, so that they are protected, because that's something which they will ask you for as well. So just moving forward from that, so you are the supplier, you've got the relevant policies in place, and you've got the relevant contracts in place, and you're looking to work with an organization. as, for example, a buyer, you found a contract on the government website, and it may be a contract which is for 5 million, for example, and then you and other agencies will also be putting forward to bid to submit a tender for that particular contract. And then you could win providing you meet the needs of that contract and that you're able to deliver. Now, do not put yourself forward for a contract if you are not able to deliver with the right staff members, because you've signed that agreement to say that you will supply staff members. And you could be at a level where they'll say, right, okay, you are tier 1. Tier 1 means that we're going to use you first. As soon as we have a shift that needs covering, we will use you first. Or you could be tier 2. That is where they're going to use you after tier 1 has not been able to provide you with the staff members. They will go to tier 2. Then there is tier 3. So tier 3 is when staff from agencies from tier 1 and 2 can't provide the staff at a particular time. Then they will go to tier 3, which is you, for example. And then if you are tier 4, then they will go to you if they can't get staff from 1, 2 or 3. So there could be 4 tiers that you get put onto. However, that still is a contract and they will use you. Now, it could also be to do with the price that you put yourself at, that you've bidded and your price is higher than tier 1 and 2. That's why you're at tier 4, for example. Or it could be to do with your experience and what information you put into a particular contract to make them feel that you are at tier 4, for example. So I hope that that has made some sense to you. Now, the next thing that I want to talk to you about is for you to make sure that you are ready. That is, i.e., you read the documents. You've got to download all of those documents to make sure that you understand the contract and what is required from you. Okay, so that could be that you downloaded, could be 100-page document, for example, which will be in sections. It could be a questionnaire, it could be evaluation, it could be a pricing schedule, what prices you're going to say that you're charging, for example. It all also depends whether it's temporary or permanent placements. Now, there's several ways that you can do this, but you have to take your time. As long as you're able to read and go through it, you highlight it, get your notepad and paper out, for example, and then, for example, you would then write out, what your pros and cons are for that particular contract that you just downloaded. Don't look at the whole picture as one. You want to do it in bite size. You look at one section first, you read through that, you take your time. See it as reading a book. I'm doing a fireside chat with you. You're looking at these documents, you download all of the documents that is to do with this contract that you are interested in. So you have to download all of the documents and read them one by one. You take your time. Give yourself 1 month to complete that contract. If you have got no experience, you can still apply for government contracts, providing that you are compliant and that you've got the insurance in place and that you've got the relevant staff members to do the work. Now, if you don't understand about health care, for example, i.e., providing healthcare workers, then speak with a healthcare worker. Talk to them about what it is their job, what's involved in it, so that it can help you to answer that tender question. Another one, if it is nurses, that you're supplying nurses, speak to a nurse. Ask them certain questions. And then you'll get a feel of how you're going to deliver that service. Because although you may not have done healthcare contracts before, we all have to start somewhere. And if you don't start, then you'll never get going. So download all of the documentation and read through the evaluation. Read through it. It's going to ask you certain questions. Answer those questions, print it off, start filling it out with pen and paper, for example. And then, even though you're a new business, you can explain that you are a new business and you are a startup. However, you have the relevant skills, you've got the relevant staff members who are competent to do the job effectively. And then give evidence of how that is done through you speaking with those types of staff members, healthcare workers, support workers, nurses, for example. And then you'll have a feel of how to answer that tender question. There'll also be an information pack that you can download and read through, and sometimes you'll get a presentation about the community, what they're looking for, what their pressure points are, what their problems are, and how they're looking for someone to solve those problems. So make sure that you read through those documents effectively. Now, I want you to also look at downloading and then looking at how you can answer those problems that they are looking to get solved. Because it has to be a match. It's got to be aligned with you. You've got to feel comfortable that you're able to deliver. Do a presentation before you even start filling out any of these forms. Look at their presentation, what their problem is, and then you look at this as a storytelling. Get yourself a pen, write it out. We call it this like a pen picture. Write out what their problems are and how you have got the solution. So this is how you can get contracts with no experience, is by reading through the document, because if you don't try it, you will never know. You can also get someone to help you in writing those tender questions. For example, you can write out so much, and then the parts which you struggle with, you could ask a company to help you. We do contract writing as well, bid writing. We have 3 bid writers and we've got 2 bid sources. So we are in a very good place to help you. But we also do contracts, boot camps, where we show you how to do it for you. Because I want you to learn how to do your own contracts. I really do. Because it makes you stronger. And it will make you feel more empowered. And even if you do get someone to help you, then at least you'll know what's involved. It's not going to seem like it's a new language to you. We all have to start somewhere. We don't suddenly end up at the top straight away. We have to start off at the very beginning, the foundations, and build ourselves up. And I would like that for you as well. So, in answer to your question, yes, you can apply for government contracts without experience. It's what you put down in your answers, and you make sure that you answer every tender question with honesty. You have to have your compliancy in place, because if you're not compliant in any way, then that can be a detriment to your contract that you've just applied for, and you could really mess that up for yourself. So read through the contracts, read through the tender questions, download all of the evaluations and all of the attachments, and then you put your things together. Make sure that you've got your insurance in place, or even though you may not need your insurance right now, it may ask you and say, one of the questions might be, if you don't have insurance right now, when you say, no, I don't have the insurance right now, but do you intend to if you are successful? Then you will say, yes, of course you will. So I just wanted to shoot this quick video for you here, just to give you some inspiration to answer a question which someone asks: do I need to have experience to be able to win a contract? And the answer is, you can win a contract with no experience. I hope that you've enjoyed this video today. Please like and subscribe, join our channel, and do join our free training that we've got. We've got a training coming up, which is how to get NHS contracts, which is coming up next week. I hope that you can join us. The link is here in the description. Like and subscribe so that you can get more trainings. We are going to be going live on a regular basis, almost daily. So I want you to be able to learn as much as you can so that you can become more empowered. We need to look at things that is going to fit in with our lifestyles. And I'd like you to apply for contracts that's going to fit in with your lifestyles, whether you're doing temporary contracts or whether you're doing permanent placements. So I hope that you found this helpful. Yes, you can apply for contracts with no experience. I hope that I've answered your question. Take care. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Signing off. Bye.